Hello there. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm Colleen Klimczak. I'm an organizational and productivity coach and a certified professional organizer. I own Peace of Mind Professional Organizing, LLC. Since 2003, I've been helping my clients live better lives through organizing and organizational and productivity coaching. I support my clients and my community with coaching, in-person and virtual organizing, my weekly podcast called Your Organized Life with Colleen Klimczak, a free weekly virtual productivity session called Finish Line Friday, a free weekly email newsletter, and regular content on Facebook and Instagram. I also offer presentations and professional development to groups and companies. And coming soon, I will be launching a membership circle to support my community with even more coaching and productivity content. Want to finish strong with me this week? Join me for Finish Line Friday every Friday morning at 9 a.m. Central for a 2-hour productivity session. Drop me an email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or follow the Zoom room link in my Instagram or Facebook pages. Welcome to Your Organized Life, episode 94. I have been waiting and wanting to write about this week's topic for a very long time, but it's kind of a big topic and I've been hesitant. But I think it's time, and I want to start talking about bullet journaling because I find it so helpful, and I'm going to break it down into different topics, things I love about the bullet journaling process that you can absolutely try for yourself, even if you don't want to start bullet journaling. So there's a couple things, actually there's a lot of characteristics of a bullet journal that you can apply anywhere, and I still find them super helpful. I'm excited to start talking about bullet journaling. I do want to put in a plug here for Ryder Carroll, the creator of Bullet Journal. And you can head over to bulletjournal.com if you want, or Google it, or go on YouTube. There's so many ideas and content out there. Don't get overwhelmed. But if you want to use the idea, go ahead and explore. It's a big deal for me for a lot of reasons, and I will tell you why. So first up, it is September, and September is National Preparedness Month. I've shared a lot of information over the years about National Preparedness Month. I think that we all benefit from that reminder that we need to have our ducks in a row, or at least know what and where our ducks are. We need to be ready for life and whatever life might throw us. And I will talk about NPM in a couple weeks, but that is not today's topic. So one of the ways that I stay in a state of ready, how I manage all the things that I manage, and there are a lot of those things, is using something called a bullet journal. I must give credit where credit is due, and I need to give a nod to my dear friend Mark, who introduced me to the idea many years ago. Mark has since passed, unfortunately, but I think of him kindly when I am working in my bullet journal, and I'm so grateful to him still after all these years. I just started a new journal last week. Starting fresh is such a good feeling. A bullet journal is simply a tool. That's all. It's a very personalizable tool. Mark and I taught bullet journaling classes together over the years, and it was good for us to teach it together because bullet journals are so personal and individualized, and it was good to have two different people's input in the class. So there are many facets of a bullet journal that I love. Honestly, it's just a notebook. That's it. It's a notebook. It's how you use that notebook that makes it a bullet journal. So bullet refers to bullet points, like little teeny dots, like an outline form, and also the speed at which we should be able to write down our thoughts in a bullet journal, right? Bullet fast. So that's where the name comes from. Again, if you would like to go to the bullet journal website and check it out, you can also spend a lot of money on a very snazzy notebook. They are very pretty. Go for it. But before I get ahead of myself, let me tell you why. 2 reasons why I love my bullet journal. A bullet journal is a tool, and it comes with rules and suggestions, like a technique of ways for doing things, of taking notes. And you can choose to use it or not. I find it very helpful, and the 2 facets I want to talk about can be applied to other notebooks or note-taking devices as well. So the first aspect that I love about my bullet journal is that it is ever present. As I wrote this article, and even as I stand here recording this episode, it is here on the 9-foot homemade oak bar right next to me. It is physically at my right hand all the time. And when I get ready to go, I slip it in my backpack, which is typically about 12 inches from where it typically lives, and it goes with me and is ever present as I go about my day. I love technology. Don't get me wrong. I am a tech girl. I use my iPhone, my iPad, my laptop all day long. But there are also times in my day that I need to write something down as opposed to entering it into my phone or laptop somehow. Maybe I need to scratch a 2-word reminder to run an errand while I sit at a stoplight, right? And because my bullet journal is ever present, I can just write that down. Because I don't necessarily want to pick up my phone in traffic because, oh yeah, it's illegal and also ill-advised. So whenever a thought strikes me, I can quickly jot it down. And I recognize that there are many opportunities in my day where those things do come to pass. I'm hoping that my producer will edit out the dramatic pause from earlier in this episode when an idea struck me and I had to write it down instead of continuing on recording. But I got back to it. And this is why I'm sharing. So I know many people, clients and colleagues, who write down notes on whatever is handy. The back of mail envelopes, shopping bags, the margins of a book, on a newspaper, on their hands. Yes, their hands. 25 years ago, I worked for the internal medicine residency program at the University of Illinois at Chicago. And yes, our residents would sometimes jot down lab results on their hands because that was available. Because that is what was available when they took a call from the lab about a patient. Yeah, let's not do that, right? So if I'm already on a call on my phone, sometimes it's just easier to write the customer service reference number or my, family member's hospital room number on my bullet journal, as opposed to getting distracted by my screen. So if I am in the middle of one thing and a thought occurs to me, I can write down things like look up jar salad recipes. That's on the notebook. Or write a really cool quote that I read in a devotion this morning. So it's a way to capture all of those ideas, and it is always with me, ever present. One client in particular asks, as we discover notes on note papers, receipts, envelopes, whatever, she always asks, what is wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with her. But her notes, and therefore her thoughts, end up in a hodgepodge, which make it difficult to retain or review the information and get to what's really important. So whenever we're working on her papers, we find notes all over the place. But without context, those notes are difficult to process or, look at or find again. Which leads me to the second thing I love most about my bullet journal, and that is the index, which is just what it sounds like. If you read any published materials, like a book or a magazine or a journal, it likely has an index. Why? So you can find what you need when you need it. So on my bullet journal here next to me, I have today's date listed and some notes below. Later today, I have a doctor's appointment, and I'm going to have some notes from that in my bullet journal as well. Later still, I have a rehearsal for my choir, and I will surely add more thoughts and tasks to the page. In a couple of weeks, if I want to refer back to what we talked about today with my doctor, for example, I'm going to check my index page and flip to the page from today. It's that easy. My index pages, the first 4 pages of a bullet journal, will have 3 columns for page number, dates, and then topics per page. So I can readily find information again if I need it. You can do this with any notebook you already have. I rocked a client's world a few weeks ago with this concept. She was so excited to add an index to an existing notebook to help it make sense for her. Yes, you can take any existing notebook, number the pages, and if it's too late to add an index to the front, add it to the last 4 pages instead. 3 columns for page numbers, date, and topic. Sometimes my topic is just life in quotation marks, and sometimes it is a doctor appointment, a school board meeting regarding finances, blog article topics, etc. So let's say on pages 13 and 14 are notes from the special board meeting regarding finances. And in a month or 2, I want to go back and look at that. I flip to the index, I see pages 13 and 14, and I can flip to those pages with consistency and confidence. I usually fill up a bullet journal in like 4 to 5 months, but the notes and index still exist. And so I can always go back and look at past bullet journals as well. A real life example, I had a client who was moving cross country. She was calling places about apartments on the West Coast, and she had a notebook full of notes. But when it came time to actually travel, she was worried about being able to find the specific places and people that she had talked to reference while she sat in the office with those people. So she had a notebook full of information, but it wasn't as useful and user-friendly as it could be. So I suggested she go back, number the pages of the notebook, determine what date approximately she spoke with which people at each apartment complex, and add that info to an index at the back of the notebook. She had spoken to, so-and-so on this date regarding these apartments. This is how many square foot and how much it cost for a 1-bedroom or a 2-bedroom, what the amenities were, how long the waiting list, etc. And then when she sat in the office on the West Coast in person with these folks, she could easily flip to that page and say, when we spoke on this day, you mentioned X, Y, and Z, and that conversation was going to be so much more fruitful. It really helped with the home search to be able to find that information again. Another real-world example is inspired by a conversation with my college student just the other day. My son is taking a philosophy class this semester, and his professor does not allow electronic note-taking. I wish I had known about indexing while I was still a student because it's so helpful. So, on the back page of his notebook, or on the first page if he thought of it before class started, but definitely on the last couple pages, he could absolutely number the bottom of the notebook pages and then start an index. So, for example, page 1 was the first day of class. Page 3 and 4 are the second day, and we talked broadly about this topic and this topic. Pages 5 through 8, we studied for the first quiz, and it was such and such a date regarding such and such a topic. So again, you can index anything. So to recap, 2 things I love about my bullet journal, which you can also apply to other things as well, is to have one place that's always with you, one notebook that's always with you to capture any ideas that you might have during the day. And secondly, the powerful concept of indexing. So indexing paper notes, indexing notebooks. You can index digital notes as well. I mean, really, that's what a lot of times we need to do in our C drives. But what that does for us, it helps us to find what we need again when we need it. If you would like to talk about bullet journaling for goal setting, time management, and productivity, I am ready. Support around goal setting, time management, and productivity is what productivity coaching is all about, after all. If it's time to invest in yourself and explore coaching for organizing and productivity, I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line via email at colleen@peaceofmindpo.com or message me through any of my social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, or LinkedIn. Thanks so much, and I will talk to you next week.